And we are thrilled now to be joined by Keith Cooley as today's big interview. Keith, first and foremost, congratulations on all your accomplishments. Thank you for everything that you've done for the city of Detroit, for the state of Michigan, for the Midwest in general. Congratulations on being a big impact pioneer, and welcome into the show.
Thank you very much for making that choice, and good to see you.
Keith, I want to start all the way back at the beginning of the story that we started to tell, and you becoming the first African-American gymnast to step foot on the University of Michigan campus. How much were you aware of the significance of that at the time?
Not very much, to tell you the truth. I was a walk-on, so I mean, we didn't have trampoline or gymnastics at Pontiac Central High School when I was there. I ended up taking a gym class at Michigan because I had friends beforehand that had a trampoline. I would go to their house. They lived out in the suburbs, and I had so much fun on it. I said, I want to try this. When I got to school, began to go over after classes and watch the guys on the team and then practice either before them or after them. That's when I got the sense that I was the first one. At least I was the first one in their history. So it was probably right around that time. And that, by the way, was kind of the end of my freshman year, beginning of my sophomore year.
What was your emotional state as you started that journey? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Were you scared? Were you a combination of everything?
Combination of everything. I had no intention of becoming a member of the team, but the coach, Newt Loken, who was just a wonderful guy, one of my mentors, said after he'd seen me there for several months, he said, "You know what? I think you could make the team if you try it out." And I said, I don't think that's a chance. He said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. You go home this summer. I'm going to send a trampoline for you to practice on. You practice. When you come back in the fall, I back away. If you make the team, you do it on your own." He sent the trampoline. I practiced, and that next year was my freshman year of eligibility for the team. And the year after that, I competed for the Big Ten championship in 1966 with the rest of the team. It was a great time.
When you officially became a member of the team, how were you received by your teammates, by your opponents, by others who saw you as someone very different competing in what had been a fairly homogenous sport?
Yeah, I think in the beginning there was a little trepidation, but almost every member, I think every member of the gymnastics team really embraced me. We got to be really good friends. I will tell you that across campus, especially in the offices of the academic community and the rest of the college, I think there was some hesitation. An example, I was told that at that time we had yell leaders. We didn't have cheerleaders. So the members of the gymnastics team were the guys that went out and did the flips off the stands, and to make the count for how many scores had been made, how much the football team had scored. And they also did some yelling at the basketball games. I asked to be a member of the yell leading team for football and was told no. Essentially, I could cheer for basketball, but not football. Football brought in a lot of money, is my guess. So, but other than that, everybody was welcoming and friendly.
So how did that experience, Keith, both the positive and the negative, shape your future and what eventually would become important to you after college?
Well, I think what that did was just help me understand that the world is made up of a lot of different people, and some people need to get to know you better as who you are and as an individual, so they're not ended up grouping you in with some stereotype look at what they think people who don't look like them are like. And so I did the best I could to engage people, whether they liked me or not, or whether I knew if they liked me or not, engage them, get to know them, have them get a sense of me, and then move forward from that point of view. And I'd like to think that has helped me to either build bridges or cross bridges over the last 50, 60 years.
One of those things that have helped a lot of folks cross some bridges is a project called the Minority Engineering Project Office Program. It was designed to help recruit minority students from schools into engineering, and you helped start that program. What was the genesis, and why was that particular project so important to you?
Yeah, well, when I got to Michigan and began the engineering curriculum, I recognized that I I could walk to classes every week and count on one hand how many people I saw that kind of looked like me. And I'd have fingers left over. And members of the faculty and the engineering administration knew the same thing. So as I got close to graduation, the dean of the college, Dean Van Wylen, Associate Dean Isley, and one of my professors said, we would like you to help us build a capability to attract minorities, women, and physically challenged students into this college. Can you help us with that? My answer was absolutely yes. And they gave me the step up to do that in 1969, I think it was. I spent a couple of years out building reactors for the Navy, as a matter of fact, in upstate New York before I got back to school for my master's degree, and then began the MIPO journey.
Both massive responsibilities. I'm curious as to what your initial feeling was and your reaction was, and how large that responsibility felt when you were asked to take on that project.
It felt huge. I'm not sure I could have done it had I not had the assistance of my major professor, Dave Bach, assistant Dean Joe Isley, and Dean Van Wylen. They talk to me 2 or 3 times a week. How you doing? What can we do to help? And they really did make a big difference, because that office, being the first one there, came under a lot of scrutiny by people that weren't really as happy about seeing it being raised up and doing the things it was doing.
Among your other professional ventures, you became CEO of a nonprofit called Focus Hope to fight for civil and human rights in Detroit. I know that city remarkably important to you. You still live there. Tell us more about the goal and the process behind that particular venture.
Yeah, Focus Hope was set up actually years ago, 1968, I believe, right after the Detroit riots. And the idea behind that organization was to help to bridge the gap between the city and some of its less represented, less qualified, if you will, citizens, and give people who otherwise would not have the means an opportunity, a leg up to get a college degree or learn, get an associate's degree and get out there and join the workforce in a way that made everyone proud. We were taking students who were unable to read or do math at the 7th or 8th grade level when they graduated from high school, and spinning them up into machinists and information technologists and even engineering, manufacturing engineering students. So it was quite a venture. It had been going for several years. When the founders eventually got sick and had to move on, I was chosen to pick the mantle up, and I was honored to do it and pleased that we were able to do such a good job of it. We sent students to Ford, GM, and many of the suppliers around them, and some of those students I still see today.
And I know it's been a lifelong goal and dream of yours to improve the city of Detroit in so many different ways, and the state of Michigan. You're a member of Governor Gretchen Whitmer's advisory council on what is called environment justice. What is that council's goal? How do you kind of get there? How do you reach that ultimate goal?
I think in a nutshell, the goal is that as the country, and especially as Michigan, makes the transition from carbon-based fuels and greenhouse gas issues and moves to decarbonization and hopefully a place where we're no longer warming the planet, that everyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, location, income, etc., everyone can enjoy the same level of freedom from health problems and live in communities that are healthy, wealthy, and up to the challenge of living every day for the kids and the community to make it as good as it can be. So we work. There are about 12, 13 of us that work pretty hard across the state of Michigan to make sure that that vision can become a reality.
A life that has been lived fully so far, with many more great years to give, and the thought always for others. Keith Cooley, our latest big impact pioneer. Keith, again, thank you for everything that you've done. It's been wonderful to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.